The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation recently marked its 25th year anniversary. In this interview with Channels Television, the Managing Director of the NDIC, Mr. Umaru Ibrahim, indicated that the corporation has contributed to the growth and development of the banking sector. First of all, I'd like you to tell us your assessment of the banking sector in Nigeria.
Well, it's left for the general public to assess, and of course it's left to the banking community to assess our modest contributions and achievements since the inception of the corporation. But with every sense of modesty, I will say that we have done our best to contribute to stability and safety and soundness of the banking system in particular and the financial system in general, to the extent that we are able to provide succor, to millions of depositors in various ways, either in terms of payment of their deposits in cases where banks had to be liquidated, or in terms of helping to arrange some kind of mergers, or to establish a bridge bank, all whatever it takes to, as much as possible, protect depositors. We have tried to do that in the best way possible.
In terms of risk management issues in the financial market in general, what has been the situation?
Well, again, as part of the ongoing reform and strengthening of the banking sector, generally, there is a lot of emphasis on better corporate governance, and risk management is a critical component of corporate governance. There is more drive now towards training, towards orientation in risk management. The players appreciating the kind of risks they take in terms of either operational risks or credit risks or financial risks or political risk and or agency risks or people's risks. There are very many dimensions of risks, and the whole idea is that the banks should not unduly engage in unsafe and unsound risky lending in particular that will help or negate their progress, something that we experienced in the past. Of course, you can attribute this to both internal and external forces, but the whole idea of risk management is to help mitigate risks, to properly identify, assess, and manage risks.
What strategies do the NDIC develop to address issues surrounding depositors' funds in the banking sector?
Our strategies have always remained, that of focusing on the effective monitoring of the performance of the insured institutions, that is the deposit money banks, the primary mortgage banks, as well as the microfinance banks, through collaborative effort with the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure that they are properly supervised through various continuous examination processes, as well as our off-site surveillance system, so as to make sure that they stay on the proper course, so that they remain safe and sound, and they play their expected role in financial intermediation. One of the instruments that is being used now and globally too is the issue of is the instrument of, like I said, effective, intrusive banking supervision, and risk-based supervision has been introduced so as to ensure a much more proactive system of checking and advising the banks. And this places enormous responsibilities of the banks too, to be aware, of, like we pointed out earlier, to be aware of the various risks they carry and to emphasize that.
The banking sector has become automated in line with global best practices. Of course, the Central Bank of Nigeria has developed the cashless policy as one of the ways to achieve financial inclusion. What role is the NDIC playing in mobile banking and other banking models to promote financial inclusion in Nigeria?
Well, financial inclusion, the promotion of financial inclusion in Nigeria is not only the responsibility of NDIC, in fact, it's the primary responsibility of the Central Bank of Nigeria, which has ably been able to spearhead the policy and the drive. This is in line with, the avowed declaration of the federal government to ensure that the level of financial exclusion, i.e. the extent to which a lot of Nigerians are excluded, almost 60% excluded from having access to finances, is drastically reduced. And this is a declaration that has been made by a number of developing countries, and we keyed into that. And like I said, this is being driven by the Central Bank of Nigeria, and recently the Federal Ministry of Finance has shown a lot of interest in also proactively participating in the whole drive. So this is being driven generally by the Financial Services Coordinating Committee, which comprises Central Bank, NDIC, Securities and Exchange Commission, Insurance, NICOM, all the key stakeholders in the financial services industry, each one playing its own role to ensure that there is, financial literacy, there is awareness, and that appropriate channels are developed, to promote that in the interest of the Nigerian economy.
Not many people seem to know what the NDIC is all about, except the very few ones who are abreast with what's going on in the banking sector or the financial market in general. What are you doing to sensitize Nigerians, creating public awareness to be able to pass across the message of the NDIC?
Well, we are doing our very best, given the level of, high financial illiteracy, given the level of illiteracy in the country, given the challenges of lack of access to a number of things. We all the same try to create public awareness using the mass media, electronic, and print media. We have also established zonal offices in about 7 locations in the country, so that as much as possible we are closer, to the grassroots, as it were. So public awareness, like you rightly pointed out, even on banking generally and on finance generally, is very minimal in most developing countries, and talk less of knowledge of what a deposit insurance or safety net is. Not surprisingly, there are some people, even among the most educated Nigerians, who don't know much about us and who think that we are no better, we are no different from conventional, insurance companies. So we are doing our very best. We have a long way to go. We are creating more avenues through the social media, so that, and we are also engaged in producing pamphlets and publications that will, in various Nigerian languages, that will help create greater awareness. We are also arranging to undertake sensitization programs in secondary schools, primary schools, tertiary institutions, and especially the NYSC.
Let's talk about the primary mortgage institutions in Nigeria. What plans do the NDIC have to promote safe and sound banking practice in the housing sector?
We very much appreciate the renewed effort of the federal government to ensure more housing delivery to teeming millions of Nigerians through not only through the efforts of the Federal Mortgage Bank and the National Housing Fund, the Federal Ministry of Housing, but also through the effort of the Ministry of Finance that has spearheaded the establishment of the Nigerian Mortgage Refinancing Company, which is a very laudable act or initiative that will help the primary mortgage banks to refinance, their credits, their portfolios, so as to enable them get more liquidity, so that they can give out more loans to deserving, customers. So it is in that light that we felt that, it was necessary to engage the, primary mortgage banks more closely, even though we do routinely, like I told you, examine their books and affairs. We collect, we obtain returns from them through which we assess their levels of operations. They pay us a premium, and so on and so forth. But we felt it's good to organize the kind of workshop that we're having today so that we can sensitize them on the opportunities and risks that abound. The numbers are huge. You know very well the number of Nigerians who are desirous of having houses, having shelter, and the huge opportunities provided by the mortgage refinancing company. And the company can only conveniently afford to refinance, only those primary mortgage banks that are in a safe and sound condition.
How you intend to work with the primary mortgage banks in the country?
Well, we already have a working relationship with the PMBs, just as like we have a working relationship with all other insured institutions, microfinance banks, deposit money banks. As you know, they have a very strong forum on the owners and management of primary mortgage banks. We do interact. We have a department that interacts with them on a continuous basis. So we have continuous engagement so that we understand what's going on and they understand our own perspective as well. We've just reminded them of the fact that, for instance, we have a window which they can use to obtain short-term liquidity support from us if should they require and should they merit it.
And just before I let you go, Mr. Umaru, what plans do you have for the NDIC in the next few months and the next few years, and how do you intend to achieve them?
Going forward, we of course intend to continue to collaborate with all key stakeholders that will ensure the development of a robust banking system in Nigeria so as to support the economy. Happily, we know that we have the largest economy in Africa, and there is no way the economy can develop without a viable, supportive banking system. So this is what we intend to do through continuous protection of depositors' funds so as to engender confidence in the system, and also through collaborative engagement with the insured institutions through effective supervision and greater public awareness.
Now let's bring you the answer to our quiz. The price of crude oil at the time of this program goes for $61 per barrel. And on this note, we've come to the end of the program. We appreciate your time with us on the show. You can send us your comments and questions to Business Incorporated at channelstv.com. You can also join me on Twitter. Thank you for watching. I am Bolaji Akiwali. Bye for now.